Good morning, second graders. It's time for math, and we have Chapter 11, Lesson 5, and we want to look at our learning target. We use an inch ruler, a yardstick, or a measuring tape to measure an object in inches, feet, or yards. Now, I want to show you, I sent out a picture of an inch ruler. This is an inch ruler. Now, we have 12 inches. We've learned that we start measuring at the zero, not at the edge of the ruler. And you may have rulers around your house. You can use that. But this is the size that I want you to look. If I measure my hand is a big adult hand. And if I measure, it is about 10 inches. Your hands would not be that big. If I put this onto my shoe, it would be, my shoe is a little bit bigger than this. So I have that. I can put into my brain that certain things are about this big. All right. Now, the next thing it says is a yardstick. A yardstick is, see this? You see them in the classroom. This is a yardstick. This is actually a really old yardstick. This is from Mrs. Garrett's dad. And this yardstick, if I'm going to stand it up, it would be you would be a little taller than this. It takes about 2 of these to equal how tall I am. All right. So a big, tall adult is 2 of these tall, but but you are taller than 1 of these. All right. If you take your hands and you go and you open your arms side to side, then open them up like you were trying to pretend you were a plane, you would be about 4 feet, so longer than this. But this is a yardstick, and we can't bend it. And then it says, or a measuring tape. Now, I went and I found this. See, this is a roll of a measuring tape, and it goes past a yard, which is 36 inches. It goes past, and it keeps going and going and going, and it goes all the way to 60 inches. This is a measuring tape. You can get all kinds of measuring tapes to do different things. People that build things have long measuring tapes inside of a metal container. But this is a measuring tape, and you could use this to measure around things that aren't in a straight line. All right? So we need to use our imaginations, because we are not going around and trying to find all of these things, but we can decide which one we want to use. The inch ruler, the yardstick that is 3-inch rulers long, or a measuring tape that we can wrap around things that are not a usual size. All right, so here we go. Let's move these out of the way. And it says, which real-life objects are longer than an inch ruler? Now, if I take my inch ruler and I put it on here, I would say, well, guess what? This inch ruler is longer than this picture of a truck. But if it was a real truck, could you get into something that was just bigger than my hand? No. So this would not work as something that is the inch ruler is not longer than this. This would be longer than an inch ruler. All right. Which real-life objects are longer than an inch ruler? In real life, a truck is very big. All right, let's keep going. Here is a watch. Now, a watch goes around your wrist. And let's see, is that going to be bigger than an inch ruler? No, that is not going to be bigger than an inch ruler. So I am not going to circle it, because I need to find things that are longer than an inch ruler. Here's a picture of a cracker. And I know crackers, they're a little bit bigger than that, but are they bigger than an inch ruler? I'm going to say no. They are not bigger than an inch ruler. Even really great big crackers are not bigger than this. All right, here we have a bear. Now, I'm going to say a real bear, boys and girls, is not going to have a funny, happy face like that. A real bear is not going to look like that. But let's just say for this math activity, let's say it is a real bear. Would a real bear be this big? Be smaller than a inch ruler? No, real bears are big, 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 bigger than Mr. Garrett. So, is a real life bear longer than an inch ruler? I'm going to say yes. And this is a helicopter. A helicopter can have 2 people or 4 people, and they go inside and they fly, and they sometimes can carry people to hospitals, or they can carry important people or rescue people that are stuck on mountains. I know this. My cousin is he works on helicopters, so they do lots of important things. But I know if people can get inside of there, I know that it is longer in real life, longer than an inch ruler. And a dollar bill. Dollar bill. I'm going to say dollar bill. If I take a dollar bill out of my pocket and I open it up, it would not even be bigger than this paper, our math paper. And guess what? This 12 inches and this inch ruler is longer than the paper, and the dollar bill is not longer than that, so it's not longer than this. All right? Excellent. All right, so there we go. We're starting to think of things in real life and what we would see. All right. Use an inch ruler to measure shorter lengths. There are 12 inches in a foot. Here we go. Use a yardstick to measure greater lengths. There's my yardstick. There are 36 inches in a yard, or 3 feet, or a measuring tape to measure lengths that are not straight or they're not flat. All right, so let's move this out of the way. Find an object shown in your classroom. Choose an inch ruler, a yardstick, or a measuring tape to decide to measure the object. All right, so I have this. This is showing us our math book. They want us to get it out, so I'm going to get out our math book, and I'm going to say, what do you think I should use? Should I try to use a yardstick? Oh, my yardstick is a lot bigger than this. I don't think that's the right tool. And then we said that we use the tape measure for something that's not straight, but this is straight. So I'm going to use my inch ruler. Remember, I start with my 0 on the edge, and then I go down to the other edge, and I find out it is about 11 inches. So I come here, and the tool I use, is an inch ruler, and the length is about 11 inches. Now, if you have your measurement at home, I'm hoping that you will see the same thing. Now, this says to measure a desk. We don't have our desks, but at home, if you are using a table or you are using some place that you're doing your work, what would you use? Would you want to use an inch ruler and have to stop and then go and find another place and keep measuring a small amount, a small amount, a small amount? Or I could take my yardstick and go from this side of my desk that I'm working on to the other, and I would say the tool I'm using is a yardstick. Yardstick, and the length is about 1 yard. And remember, we talked about this 1 yard, it's equal to 3 feet. All right, and then we want to measure around. They show a water bottle. I am going to use this bucket. So let's see. If I'm using this, can I use my straight ruler? Nope, it won't bend. Let's see. This, oh, that's too big. But what about our measuring tape? I go with my measuring tape and I start it on this side and I go all the way around until I get to the other side and I see that it gets to the 10. So let me see. I'm going to say measuring tape, MEASURING TAPE. The A says its name because of that E. Measuring tape, and the length is about 10 inches. Now we go to page 549. There we go. Find an object in your classroom. Choose an inch ruler, a yardstick, or a measuring tape to measure the object. What would I use to measure a finger? To measure my finger? Well, I know that a yardstick is going to be too long. I know that I don't need to use a measuring tape because that would be wiggly. I can make my finger go straight. So I'm going to use an inch ruler. I put my finger on the end and I come down to about here and I say that I used an inch ruler and the length is about 4 inches. Oops. All right, let's go to the next part. If I was measuring, here's where we need to use our imagination. If I was measuring inside the classroom and I wanted to see which or how long my whiteboard is in the classroom. You've seen the whiteboards that move side to side in the classroom. They cover up the cabinet. Would a inch ruler, is that about the right size? No, I hear you saying, no, that is too small. And it's straight, so I wouldn't need to use my measuring tape. I would want to use my yardstick, right? My yardstick, I can do a longer length. So when I use my yardstick, I know that my length would be about 2, right? It says about, not exactly, about 2 yards. And if 1 yard is 3 feet, 2 yards would be 6 feet. 6 feet long. It might be a little bit longer, but they're saying about. Now here's where you get to find 2 objects in your house and measure them. And think about this. If you were going to measure the length of the playground, would you use an inch ruler or a yardstick? And explain. So if we're going to go and measure the playground, would you get your inch ruler that's only this big and put it down and then have to move it and then have to move it? Or would you use something that's bigger so you wouldn't have to move it as many times? You're right. You would use the yardstick. All right, boys and girls, do the next 3 pages, and I hope you have a great day.